Hi everyone, thank you for joining me once again. Today we're going to talk about the Canaanite goddess of hunting, battles, and war. We're going to talk about Anat. Anat was the goddess of war, hunting, and battles. It is very interesting that in these areas you sometimes find a goddess as the goddess of war and not a god. It's a female deity and not a male deity. She is a fearless warrior. When she passes through the battlefield and wins, she takes souvenirs from her enemies. I'm going to leave it to your imagination what is it that she's taking. And she's hanging them on her belt and on her back. And when you see her passing through the battlefield, you know that she is winning. She also very good in planning strategies. If she has enemies that she knows it's going to be tricky to win them, she can invite them to a party in her palace. And there she will lock them in the room and she will start the battle within closed walls. It is very interesting that she has strategies because it's something that she shares with Athena, the Greek goddess of not only war but also wisdom. In the Greek mythology, you do have a god of war, but he tends to be very furious and moody, almost like a child. Athena is not like that. She can win wars, she can win battles, but she is wise. She has strategies. And some researchers say that maybe Athena was inspired by Anat. They also have similar sounds in their names. Also in Cyprus, they found a writing engraved on a wall that is dedicated to Goddess Athena Anat or Anat Athena. So there is a possibility that those two goddesses were linked. They were connected. Goddess Anat is very dedicated to the one that she loves. For example, she cares deeply about Baal. Baal was a storm god, but in a good way. Because in this region, when everything is very close to the desert, you need the rain every year to make sure that you have crops, that you have something to eat. So Baal is a very important god. And Baal is fighting many other gods. For example, Yam, god of the sea, or the god of the underworld. And Anat is standing with him in all of those battles, and honestly, she's pretty much doing all the work and fighting many of his enemies for him, and she wins. And when she wants something, she gets it. For example, after Baal is being killed by the goddess of the underworld, it takes Anat 7 years to bring him back to life. But she doesn't give up, and she does that. She is the daughter of Asherah, queen of the gods and goddesses, and El, the head of the pantheon. And when she wants something, she goes to El and she demands it. Sometimes when she's going to El's palace, he is hiding, and he is telling her that she is the only goddess that he's scared of. When she wants to go somewhere, she jumps and probably flies. He doesn't say the word flying, but she jumps, she leaps very high from the ground, and she gets to wherever it is she wants to go. So she's probably moving through the air. She is considered to be very beautiful. When you want to compliment a woman in the ancient world, you tell her that she is as beautiful as Anat. And later on, we will see that at some point, Anat is embracing into her character things like fertility and love, things that are connected to either Asherah or Astaroth, the goddess of love, which we will talk about next time. In the Bible, Anat is hardly being mentioned, but we do meet characters such as Shamgar ben Anat. It means Shamgar, it's the name, son of Anat. He was a judge, a warrior, he led his people. It is almost like a surname. But researchers, after Ugarit was discovered, they come up with this idea that maybe when they call someone son of Anat, it doesn't mean that he was actually the son of someone called Anat, or it was the family name or surname. What they think that maybe there was a guild, there was a group of warriors, and this group of warriors were dedicated to Anat. So if you are an honorable warrior in this guild, you are the adopted son of Goddess Anat, so you are Ben Anat, son of Anat. We also meet Anat in Ugarit in legends such as the legend of Akhat. Akhat is a warrior. He is the son of a righteous man, and he has this beautiful hunting bow, and Anat wants it. She convinces another warrior to go and kill him for her so she can take the bow, and she promised to resurrect him. It doesn't work, and the bow with the arrows is lost. But in many of the statues or the engraving that we find Anat in, she usually has a weapon, a sword, a spear, bow with arrows. A possible manifestation of Anat is as a bird called Milvus migrans. I hope I said it right. I looked it up because I know the name in Hebrew, but I wasn't sure how to say it in English. But this is a hunting bird. When she wants to get close to her enemies, she turns herself and sometimes her warriors into those birds. Another thing that she and Asherah sometimes share is a picture of her standing on the back of a lion or a lioness. And when she stands on the back of the lion or the lioness, this is how she crosses all the area between Mesopotamia, Phoenicia, Egypt, and Canaan, all the way to the Red Sea. But Anat also knows to be merciful when needed. And when it's time for peace and you want the war and the battles to be over, people are praying to Anat, asking for her to bring peace. And she does that. Another thing is that she's staying very calm under pressure. We hear a story about a party in the palace of El, head of the pantheon, and all the gods and goddesses are getting drunk and no one is actually able to do anything. And she and Astaroth, her sister, they're going to find a cure for this drunkenness, and they find it and they bring it back so the gods could actually take it and start doing whatever it is the gods and goddesses are supposed to do again. We also see that sometimes they call Anat the virgin or the maiden. But maiden or virgin doesn't mean exactly what we think of today. It means that she wasn't willing or didn't want to be nobody's wife. She didn't feel the need to have a man standing by her side so she could be stronger. Astaroth, her sister, goddess of love, beauty, and sexuality, is sometimes being worshipped as another side of Anat. They're almost like two different faces of the same character, almost one goddess. Now, it is not very rare. We know of Inanna, the Mesopotamian goddess, that was the goddess of love and beauty, but also the goddess of war and battle. In Egypt, we have Hathor. She is a goddess of beauty, love, fertility, but when she is mad, she becomes this goddess of war, and she goes on and she fights battles. And then what the other gods have to do is to trick her to drink a lot of beer so she will get drunk, fall asleep, and when she wakes up, she's Hathor again. So Anat is a fearless warrior. She is very dedicated to the one that she loves. She fights sea monsters and she fights armies, and she wins because she has strategies and she's smart, and she also knows when it's time for peace. I want to thank you for joining me. It's been an honor to introduce you to Anat, the goddess of war. I do hope that you will find your inner Anat, your inner warrior, and call for her when you need to. Thank you, and I will see you next time.